I remember when I got my first iPhone. It was December 2009, and not only was it my first iPhone, but it was actually my first smartphone, and boy, did it change my life. It changed my life so much that less than 2 years later, I decided to enroll in the mobile development program at Full Sail University. And that's when I received my first Mac. And just like the iPhone, that too completely changed my life. And throughout the years, I've seen updates with the operating system for Mac and iOS. And most recently, with iOS 7, we've seen a huge update, a user interface update, something like we've never seen before. And it's actually become more content driven, flatter, and we've seen a lot of use of translucency to give us more context. But with that change, we've seen a big gap in the look and feel between the iOS devices and the Mac. Well, soon that's going to change because OS X Yosemite is not only going to change the way and how you see your Mac, but also in what you can do with it. Now, who here uses a Mac? I think we all do. Who here uses a Mac and maybe has an iPhone? Well, if you do, then you're really going to want to grab some popcorn, pull up a chair, and listen up because there's a lot of cool things that are going to happen. And even if you're just a Mac user, you still will want to listen up because there's a lot of cool features built in just to the Mac that will be highly usable. Hi, my name is Derek Bertubin, and I'm a soon-to-be graduate from the Mobile Development Degree Program. And here as a mobile developer, we've been strongly encouraged to keep up to date with the latest and greatest of technology, including beta previews like OS X Yosemite. And that's the perspective of how I'm going to present these pieces of information to you and how they can be usable to you, even an average user. I'm going to cover the refresh of the UI, but also something called continuity, which is really exciting to me, and also how the built-in apps have gotten just a little bit better to improve our productivity from day to day. Now the UI, as I mentioned before, currently with Mavericks and everything that existed before, there's a huge gap between the iOS experience and the Mac experience. And like I said, it's going to change because now that same treatment that we see on iOS is going to be applied to Mac. We're going to see a flatter design, translucency to give more context to the content that's being presented, but also a refresh in all the native apps. Things like Notification Center will also be more powerful, presenting widgets, similar to what we used to see in Dashboard. Now we see that Apple is really focusing on unifying the user experience. But this goes much more further than just a UI makeover. With the introduction of continuity, we see that functionality between the Mac and iOS devices are going to get much more unified. With something called handoff, you'll be able to start maybe an email or writing a document in Pages or reminders and instantly resume them on either one of the devices. The devices will automatically sense each other, and let's say you start an email on your iPhone, realize that the attachment photo is on your Mac, you can walk up to your Mac and instantly resume that email, attach the photo, and we'll talk a little bit more about how Mail has improved as well. But that allows for a very seamless experience. And soon, developers will be able to build handoff into their apps and increase that unified user experience, that seamless user experience. Well, also with continuity, you'll be able to receive phone calls, answer phone calls with your Mac, not FaceTime calls, voice calls, but actual phone calls. Somebody from a landline who calls your mobile device you will actually be able to talk to them on your Mac. And with iMessages, we've seen that we can start a text conversation to another Apple user and have that conversation from device with no problem. It syncs seamlessly. Well, now, all those Android users that you have conversations with, now you'll be able to respond and actually start text messages using your Mac. How awesome is that? So awesome. For me, I'm very excited. Well, let's talk about some of those built-in maps. Like I mentioned before, with Mail, let's say your photo that you're needing to attach is on your Mac. You start using handoff and then you finish it on your Mac. Well, now you will actually be able to annotate that attachment, maybe type some text on it, and actually just doctor it up however you need to. Maybe to circle around something that somebody sees on the Mac. And it, excuse me, actually does it so intelligently, makes it look good that you're probably never going to want to use anything to annotate photos. And this is built in directly into Mail. One other great feature about Mail is that now you'll be able to send attachment sizes up to 5 gigabytes. That's huge. Not only in size, but that's a huge thing. There's been so many times I've wanted to email maybe a session file to one of my friends or an instructor, and it exceeds the limit of what I can attach. Now with Mail, I can send up to 5 gigabytes. So we can clearly see how Apple is really trying to unify the user experience between all of its devices. But much more than just a user interface refresh, it's much more than just a makeover. With Continuity, you'll be able to use your Mac and your iPhone together like never before. And along with those built-in app improvements like Mail and just things like Notification Center and Spotlight, you'll be able to be more productive and just improve your overall day-to-day experience. OS X Yosemite 10.10 is going to not only change the way you see your Mac, but also how you use it. So remember that feeling of amazement you got when you got your first Apple device or your first Mac, just like me? Well, prepare to be amazed again. With OS X Yosemite, it's going to be much more than a day at the park.